A budget is not for everybody. If you're one of those people who's achieving all your needs as well as managing to put aside a little bit of money for your rainy days, then perhaps a budget is not for you. But if you're like most of us who work all the hours we can get and still don't have enough money to put aside for a rainy day fund, then listen to this video, it will help you. I will also explain to you the difference between smart savings versus painful savings. If this sounds interesting to you, please subscribe to my channel. Hi, my name is Gina Jose. Welcome to my channel, UK में Gina. I have a real passion to save time and save money, and I've mastered several tips and tricks. And the purpose of my channel is to share my knowledge with you. Thank you for watching me today. Budgeting is one of the most important tools that has helped me to get grips of my money life. Both of us are not big spenders, and we roughly knew where our money was going as well. And we both had decent paying jobs, but even then we still didn't have a lot of money left at the end of the month. And I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this who can relate to that. And within 3 years of budgeting, we've gone from paying off all our credit card debts to having a good stash of emergency cash buffer if in case life throws an emergency at us. Two, we've just started investing. So all this has come as a result of just budgeting. I didn't even realize I was spending more than I was earning till I started to write down a budget. Previously, I was being reactive. I knew where my money was going, but having a budget is exactly telling my money where to be spent. I use the 80-20 rule for budgeting, wherein you spend 80% of your post-tax or your net income on living life, and you put aside 20% for as a rainy day fund. There is also a further 80-30-20 split, and if you want, I can discuss this in another video. But I'd like to do the 80-20 because it's easy to understand. You spend 80% on your everyday life and put aside 20%, and this 20% can be used towards paying off your debt, building an emergency fund, or investing. So it's whatever you think is appropriate in your stage of life. In another video, I've told you about the 7 stages of building wealth. Go and check that out. Now, most of us will have a lot of free time because we're not going out as much because we are in lockdown. So take some time out and do a budget. There is some budgeting apps, and I will drop the links in the description below. I personally use a spreadsheet, which I will show you my spreadsheet that I use in my household in a minute. And my dad, who's the best budgeter that I have known, he uses a pen and paper, even till date. Find a method that you find easy to use. You will stick to it only if you find it easy. I personally prefer either a spreadsheet or a pen and paper because as you put down the figures, it feels more painful rather than it automatically being generated for you on an app. But again, do what you find easy. I'll take you over to my monthly budget now. This is my actual spreadsheet that I use in my family month on month. It runs from November to the following October, only because I started budgeting in November 3 years ago. The left side of the screen is where your smart savings come from, and the right side of the screen is where your painful savings come from. So when I say smart savings, is looking through each item line just to first of all to make sure if you need that expense, like for example, do I need a bank maintenance charge? Can I afford a charity payment? So looking through each item line to see if I need it, and if I do, if I'm getting the best deal. My mortgage, am I getting the best deal at my mortgage? And looking at each item line in a similar fashion. When it comes to childcare, just make sure you're getting all the tax allowances that you can get with childcare. Uh, Life insurance, again, we can't recommend it enough in the time we are. I'm probably looking at increasing my life insurance cover. Vanguard is my savings platform. I've already started investing for my children's university education. And the student loan, I overpay by £200. So when I say I live off 80% of my wages, and the 20% I save, it comes off my student loan overpayment. I save for the children's university education, and I pay 10% of my monthly mortgage spend as well. So my mortgage is nearly £1,200, and I put an additional £120 towards my mortgage. Next, we'll go to the yearly spend category. This is where most people get caught out because you've not budgeted for it. Look at each item line again to see if you need it, if you can afford it, and if you cannot, then you obviously take it off. And if you can afford it, if you're getting the cheapest deal at it, so like example, home insurance and TV licenses, it's cheapest to pay it annually. So these expenses often get left out, and we don't budget for it, and it get put on the credit card, and then at the end of the we are always paying off our credit card. That's what I used to do, at least. So I budgeted even our birthday expenses. I've budgeted the children's clothes. I have a little budget for it. I've even budgeted the window cleaner and my holiday fund. So my annual expenses get totaled up, and it's nearly 7,500. And that gets put into my sinking fund, is also the annual expenses that gets put there. That's so you can see it's nearly £630 extra that I need every month just to keep my lifestyle. Just show you some of the lines that I've missed out to explain. So this is what I've budgeted for, and that's what I've spent till date. And similarly with the annual expenses, I have so that's what I've budgeted for. That is a spend till date, because some expenses like their children's classes and things, the bills come quarterly, and that's what I've spent in this current month. Now, coming to the left side of the screen, the grocery spend, I do it week on week. You may want to do it monthly, but I just find it easier to do it week on week. I write down my expenses and total it up, and bring the total up to there. Similarly, I have a miscellaneous spend category, which is any other miscellaneous spend. It's usually Amazon. If you eat out, then you probably want your eating out bill within your grocery bill. And that gets totaled up there. I usually add week one and week two, and then if I have a week three, then I add that to the total. So just to know how much balance I have left to spend that month. Family budget of £400 for our food bill. Miscellaneous spend, we've budgeted our fuel, which is less this month because we're not going out as much. And we have a little bit of discretionary spend, which we usually have a little bit more, but this month it's less because we're not going out much. We have a £50 buffer, and that's the grand total that I need every month. Some of you may get worried with what we are spending, and for some families it may not be enough, but I spend depending on our family income and depending on what things that are important to us. Told you we've saved a lot of money just having a budget, a written down budget. Just having all the categories written down forced me to look at each category just to make sure we're getting the best deal at everything. And our discretionary spend has just gone down so much. We were just doing so much mindless spending, but now, because we know how much we have got to spend, we are a bit more mindful about it. And even our grocery spend, which includes our eating out bill, we were just spending mindfully. So having it written down just makes us more aware of our spending. The extra money that we've saved from our fuel and our discretionary spend this month has gone towards just in our savings account, because both of us are self-employed, and we have had a reduction of income. So that's just sat in the savings account as a safety net. If you would like a copy of the template that I use, drop me your email ID below and I will send a copy of this to you. Budgeting may sound restrictive and depriving, but for me, it actually means liberation and control. I have full control of my money. So think about it as control and you having control rather than negatives. Because we have to budget for a long period of time, it is very hard to keep motivated. So we all need to have a why to keep us motivated. For me, it is so my children have some security if something were to happen to me and Abid. And if you're lucky enough to have a long life, then I want to retire at 60 without being a burden to my children. So that is my why. So you try and find your why. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any further budgeting tips, please share it with me. I'm always looking at ways to improve my budget. If you like my video or if this has helped you in any way, please give me the like button and share it with your family and friends. If you have any suggestions for further topics or any feedback on my videos, please drop it in the comments down below. I plan to upload videos every Friday on time saving and money saving tips. If that sounds good, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching me, and stay safe and stay at home. Thank you. Bye-bye.